Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pixel for People. I'm Carter Freak, and I'm going to be your host for the start of the marathon. I hope you're all as excited as I am because we're going to have an absolutely awesome lineup of games for you all this weekend, with all the proceeds going to Child's Play charity. Child's Play is a game industry charity dedicated to improving the lives of children and teens in children's hospitals around the world, and currently has a network of over 180 children's hospitals worldwide, as well as nearly 200 domestic violence shelters across the United States. To start things off, I want to give a huge thank you to all the runners and staff who are helping to make this event possible. You're all doing something great, and honestly, words can't express how grateful I am for that, so thank you so much. With that said, let's get started with the marathon. Our first run of the weekend is going to be Trauma Center Under the Knife Story Mode by DoubleDubbel. When you're ready, DoubleDubbel, you can take it away.
Hang on, let me tell people about this, because this is something you need to see. My Twitter actually wants to load. Oh, well, while we're getting that up, hello everybody. How are y'all doing? My name is DoubleDubbel, and yeah, I'm very excited to be opening Pixels for People here with quite the interesting game here. There we go. So there's a bunch of things you can't see right now. And yes, I am deliberately avoiding S-ranking standard procedure 2, just so I can have this screen on every single time. It's tradition at this point. But yeah, so one thing you're not seeing is you know what I'm actually doing on the screen. You're just gonna see what's happening on the actual screen. So I have two styluses here that I'll be using for this, and you'll mostly see like stuff teleporting across the screen very rapidly. You know, if you're wondering how that happens, that's probably me using two styluses, because the DS doesn't know what to do with multiple inputs. So when you have multiple inputs, it snaps to where the average is. So if you put stylus 1 down and then stylus 2 down, it snaps to the middle. Then you lift stylus 1, so it snaps to where the second stylus is, and then you lift the second stylus. It sounds very complicated, but it's just A down, A up, B up. It's that simple, and it's just something that, like, practice it for 5 minutes and you have the muscle memory down, it's fine. The rest of the game might take a little longer to get down, but I'm gonna be trying to go fast here. Right, let me make sure everything's good. Cause yeah, let's get this show on the road, shall we? So time's gonna start just when I click new game. I'm just flipping through the menu so I don't get kicked to the intro sequence. Yeah, when I press new game here, we're gonna start. So let me get my timer ready as well. So let's go in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you. So the first speed strat of the run, press select to skip text. Save literal hours. It's the best speed strat. Just press one button. Here, let me show you the difference here. So this is how fast it would go if I would constantly tap, and if I press select to skip it, it goes like that. There's your frame of reference. Alright, so this is a surgery simulation game by Atlas, and the first thing we're going to do is to use the suture. Zigzag across the wound to get it done. It's fairly strict because this is the first game in the... Alright, so gel the incision, which we're not going to do after this. Just for this first operation because the game makes you do it. And yeah, see, you can see the second and third chart teleport over. That's me using two styluses. It's an example of it right there. Alright, then disinfect the incision, which we're also only gonna do here because the game forces you to do it. But yeah, you can like skip that step in future operations. It just gives you a bad rating for like scoring points and whatnot. That is like cutting the wound open without disinfecting it. Well, yeah, so surgery simulation, except it's not the greatest at simulating it. it's kind of anime malpractice simulator. Yeah, see, I got a bad rating because I don't do the disinfecting. You dab some stabilizer in. Oh, I apparently didn't do a full, so yeah. The game forces you to do a full vial. Oh my god, I got so lucky. I tapped exactly in the spot where it was. It's totally not like it's in the same spot every time or anything. Yeah, so also one major benefit of using two styluses is that I can just use my my left hand to select the tools on the left side of the screen. Couple misses, fine. It's fine, don't worry about it. As long as the vitals are above 0, then we're in business. Or that was the tumor tutorial, where they teach you how to deal with a tumor, and now they're gonna make you deal with a bunch of them at once. And, you know, in casual play, you would just take your sweet time doing one of them at a time, but since I have to tap on places on the screen to switch tools, it's a little inefficient, so we're gonna use every tool as much as we possibly can before moving on to the next. So I'm gonna be doing all 3 tumors at once. Also, there's these little inflammations that you deal with. Okay, just cut wildly and you'll find them eventually. And then cut all of them up. And yeah, use the 2 stylus trick here. Nice vitals. And then use the hand tool here.
Doctor? Good job, Dr. Styles.
And there we go, that's the second one. Oh, nice. I accidentally clicked yes on the save prompt. Nice. Gotta have those menu mishaps in there. So here we have our new nurse, Nurse Angie Thompson, and she's gonna be very mean to us. Because Derek's an idiot, and he doesn't take his work seriously. Because that's the guy we're playing as, Derek Styles, who just got his medical license. So this is the worst operation in the game for me. Polyps.
Let's begin. Dr. Styles? Dr. Styles?
Alright. So I need to drain this blood and then just pop these little blobs with the laser.
Dr. Styles?
Now there's a scripted bleeding that happens here. Unfortunately I got the second one. Yeah, the first one's scripted. The second ones appear if you like laser too much or leave the open polyps for as long as possible. So I'm just gonna deal with them in groups and use my left hand to rapidly switch between the laser and the antibiotic gel, which are fortunately right next to each other. Yeah, when a blood pool appears like that, you can't do anything. You have to drain the blood first before you can do anything else. Also, drawing circles is hard. And yeah, the next wave will only spawn once you've fully dealt with everything that's on the previous wave. And then when you do them all, you got auto zoomed out, and you finish the operation. So yeah, right now we don't have to worry about the vitals at all. You know, the operations are short, they're easy. They're short, easy, simple. That's gonna change once this game gets anime. If you thought the game was anime already, oh boy, you have nothing yet. Now we have multiple tumors to deal with. Now we have 4 of them at once.
Let's begin. What is that?
Alright, so first we have to deal with a massive amount of inflammations here. Okay. Luckily I have visual cues here on this organ, so I can just see them immediately. I have to actually work fast here. If I don't work fast enough, then this patient's gonna die. Yeah, this is the first operation where vitals will generally get low. Yeah, most of the time they'll be under 20. Which I don't recommend in real life, but hey, in this game it works. Alright, don't worry Angie, I'm checking this entire area up here very carefully. Yeah, the game intends for you to check the entire area like a good surgeon, but we're not a good surgeon, so we just check the same spot over and over and use the, you know, just use the ultrasound a bunch and it's cool.
Can I just hop in here with some quick donations?
Yeah, sure. There's a bit of story going on, so yeah, go.
Okay, I got a $10 donation from Hedwig saying, "Ha! First." Thank you so much for the donation, Hedwig. And I got a $25 and 25-cent donation from Pudding Witch saying, "Good luck and happy birthday." Thank you.
Happy birthday indeed. Yeah, Derek basically is being a slacker again, and the patient needed some extra treatment, but Derek just kinda dipped. And he got called out for it, he got sent away, but now there's an emergency going on. Angie's freaking out, and now we're taking our job seriously and becoming an anime doctor. So, this is a flat line. Gel the area, and yeah, follow the line. Now, gelling the area is not actually required, but it takes a lot more successful ticks to resuscitate him. So it is literally faster to just use the gel for that one. All right, so I'm gonna boost the vitals here first. All right, so that's not good. I was actually supposed to gel first and then remove them. Quickly do that. Alright, so now another flatline is going to occur. By the way, this guy has glass in his heart. 4, 5, 6. Vitals then go back to where they were, and for marathon safety, I'm actually going to boost vitals here real quick. Because this goes down very quickly once you take that piece of glass out. Then vitals are going to drop to 5 if they're below. Or if they're above, do they? Yeah, they drop to 5 if they're above that, and then you get your magical anime superpowers. Also, I mentioned pressing the select button to skip text before. That unfortunately doesn't work in in the operation, so I have to like rapidly tap the call button. Alright, so that's the end of chapter 1. There's 6 of those. Also, he had glass in his heart because there was a big, like, accident that happened. And there weren't any emergency doctors on call, so that's why Derek bolted back. Alright, so we're gonna revisit our magical superpowers, as we need to deal with some thrombi. Which has a somewhat annoying sequencing. Also, the best magnification in the world. That's it. Alright. So that's the sequencing. Alright, then once you do all this, they get super fast. But you can still operate on them while you wait for the superpower to activate by itself. Okay. Right, now we need to wait for the next ones to appear. Okay, so ultrasound these two together. And there we go. Once we're done with everything, it all goes away. Alright, moving on to the next operation. Quote-unquote operation. We're gonna learn how to draw a star. But, remember that whole, DS not being able to handle multiple inputs? Yeah, the star shape is, not exactly strict. So I'm just gonna take some time here to show up a bunch of random shapes that you will see the game register as a star. So you saw the star already. And there's a star right there, so I'll draw it for you guys. But you can also draw a bunch of circles. You can draw an infinity symbol. You can draw a W. That will work. A downwards arrow. There we go. And what you can also draw is a Triforce. So, shoutouts to the Trauma Center Speedrunning Discord, where we have a channel specifically for those shapes that are very much not stars, but the game thought they were. Every game has like their fair share of ridiculous shapes that the game somehow counted.
Doctor.
Okay, so let's zoom in, poke this thing with the sedative, cut it out. Pick it up, then drain the blood. Angie, stop talking to me. I'm trying to do surgery here. And there we go. Simple as that. Except it's never that simple. Because there's another one. And I suture it. Oh, come on. Try to zoom out and zoom in. There we go. I'm gonna suture that one. And now we're just gonna sit here for a while to boost boost vitals. That's so I can survive, just in case one of the aneurysms is gonna burst, because we're gonna have 5 of them at once now.
Doctor.
And the game prompts you to use the healing touch here, but we're not gonna. Because while slowing down time is a very nice ability, right, so I need to wait for the syringe to come back here. It does lag the game a lot. Oh, the sedative wore off. Okay, so let me just cut these out. And now cut this one out. Like, the game's already lagging because there's 3 blood pools on screen. And there we go. That's the aneurysm operation without the healing touch.
I can just have a quick moment here. I just want to mention that we do have an upcoming incentive for Super Mario World for a category change to in a 6. If we end up getting $20 towards that incentive before the Super Mario World 11 exit run, the category will be changed to that. And we also have a bunch of prizes for anyone that is looking to donate, from $5 to $20 entries for the raffle. You can end up winning about 20 Steam games for the $20 entrant, 10 Steam games for the $10 entrants, 5 Steam games for the $6, and a Perler set for $5 as well. And you can also get a 3 gift subs to a channel of your choice for $5. Bunch of nice prizes there.
Hurry, Doctor!
Okay, so while that was happening, Derek fainted from the healing touch we didn't use. So, this operation teaches us about large lacerations, where you have to drain the blood, then close the wound with the forceps, and then suture it. We do them first because doing that sequencing ends us up with the suture anyway, so we can just do all the ones. We can do all the other lacerations right after it, and they're also the most. They also deal the most damage. Yeah, we have no idea why there were giant lacerations in this girl's body. And now she's telling us to be left alone and that she wants to die. The operation for this also, the operation we just did is also called Just Let Me Die. You know, a nice good premise right there. But yeah, then Derek is finally being a good doctor and actually convinces the girl to not want to die anymore. Yeah, this is about the longest story bit in the game, where there's no operations. It's like 2 story chapters, and then we get the operation. So now the girl wants to live, and something inside her is causing issues that might make her die. So let's get rid of this issue, shall we?
Let's begin.
She wants to live now, so we're gonna make her live. So these things are back. For some reason. So yeah, just do the same thing again. This is totally the same operation as before, and no complications are gonna happen at all afterward. Which is why I'm stabilizing the patient for no reason at all. But then...
What the?
magical wounds appearing!
What the?
There's a little alien guy inside. Zap him! Oh no, there's more alien guys. Alright, we zapped them all. Clear up all the wounds. Yeah, boost 48 is good. 48 is fine. Because now we get more. I suture 2 wounds and there he is. The big boy. So this is Kiriaki, the first strain of guilt that we'll be seeing, and it's also by far the most frequent. So there's actually a reason why we leave the wounds around and deal with the Kiriaki first, is because of memory limitations. The Kiriaki will make wounds less frequently if there's more around. If you like suture all the wounds as they're being created, because there's less wounds around, the Kiriakis can attack more. And there's also just a straight up memory limitation for Kiriaki making cuts outright. And like I said earlier, tool switching is a little inefficient on the DS. So, yeah, try to avoid it. Okay, so now we're being invited by a medical organization called Caduceus. Which is at the forefront of modern medicine and is trying to be on the more forefront of medicine. And Derek's thinking about it, but first we gotta do an operation on a little girl. Let's see if I can avoid the second flatline. Because this little girl is gonna flatline like we saw before. However, because this is a small child,
Vitals are critical.
I only need to do 4 taps here to resuscitate her. Okay, so time to actually go fast.
Doctor,
Okay, so the bad news is I wasn't fast. The good news is that the second flatline was a false alarm, which meant that I could finish this operation without getting a second flatline. Whoopee! Marathon luck!
Just gonna hop in here real quick. We did end up actually meeting the incentive for the category change to INA 6, and that was a donation from the Phantom Mire for $20, saying, "Good luck with the marathon, and let's see what HJA does with this incentive." Thank you for the donation.
Alright, so now yeah, the doctors at the Hope Hospital, where we were before, are wondering about how Derek will fare here at Caduceus, where we're introduced to a bunch of new people. Alright, so yeah, this is just continuing on and on. Just meeting people. When the screen, when did you see the top screen fade for a split second before it goes in? It does like a character introduction, but it goes away really fast because, you know, we're pressing start to skip the dialogue, to speed through the dialogue. So, the same operation we just did again, because Caduceus needs to test their skills to make sure that Derek's not a fraud. But considering the questionable practices, especially the speedrun, maybe they did get themselves a fraud. Right, to close things. So I'm gonna do a thing here, leave one wound, and then stabilize for a bit, because they will spawn once all the wounds are cleared up. Wow, nice. They were in the same spot, so I could get both of them invisible with one ultrasound. Nice, all 3 of them. You ideally want to have every single Kyriaki of a wave on screen at the same time, so you can just zap them simultaneously. And you don't have to, like, split your focus on finding one and having a couple of them visible. Okay, and then we're gonna boost vitals yet again. Yeah, I'll go with 41. These cuts, I can just prematurely do because the Kyriaki spawns in a random place anyway. When I register a hit on the mature Kyriaki here, it also goes somewhere random, so I have to actually tap in random places on the screen in hopes of finding them. Well, yeah, that was nice and quick. Alright, so we go from the most common guild to the most RNG. It's time for Deftera. So what Deftera is gonna do is, it's gonna not seem too bad at first. You know, you have these 2 blobs, like red and blue, and they're just going in like circles, and then bouncing off of edges of the organ. And they need to combine into a little yin-yang shape, sort of. You drain that. You do that 3 times. Then they go berserk, you cut them out. Then you remove them with the forceps, and you patch up the wound. That sounds simple, right? Well, it's gonna be a little more complicated than that. You'll be seeing here.
hurry, doctor.
So we're gonna start off with these tumors. Yeah, that if you leave them alone, they will create like mini blobs, mini tumors. Okay, so yeah, they combine. You drain it. And yeah, as you go, they will also leave tumors around. Alright, so now they're going berserk. They're gonna drop the vitals and rapidly spawn these tumors. So quickly laser those, remove it, and patch it up. Good old membrane gel, and then massage it. Alright. Well, that wasn't the operation. That was just part 1. Now we get to part 2. Where there's 2 of each color, and if they collide into each other, bad things happen. So we can actually just try to separate them. Can you guys just separate, please? Oh god, this is a massive mess. Okay, so now I'm doing a thing, a thing called separate HP strats, where I keep a bunch of the Deftera here at different HP values, because the same color can't collide with each other if they have different HP values, which is you can see through the discoloration. Wow, this is a garbage Deftera. Alright, so that one is gonna go berserk now. Right, I wanna get this drain in. Alright, missed it.
Doctor.
Right, let's pop up those vitals a bit. Alright, I need to gel this still. Okay. Pick the drain. Ah, I wasn't fast enough for that one. You can combine any moment now. Yeah, you can try to bounce them around with the antibiotic gel, but it's not all that reliable. Yeah, this is one of the more garbage Defteras, I'll tell you. And we're gonna be seeing this later on in the run, and I really hope the RNG isn't this bad on that one, because we are gonna die if that's the case. Oh, I didn't have the scalpel selected for some reason. Okay.
Well done.
Move that, put that on. Laser the things. Jello, I lasered a bit too much. I burned a hole in the patient. Whoops. So yeah, Deftera can get out of hand very easily. Alright, so as if this game wasn't anime enough, it's gonna get more anime. No, let's be real here. You wouldn't expect a surgery game to make you do surgery on inanimate objects, right? But we got an explosive patient here, one of the more infamous operations in this game. Why, you ask? Because it's a bomb. We are doing surgery on a bomb.
Ready to go?
Oh, whoops.
Derek.
I need to magnify this area first. This is the only time in the game where you, take stuff out of the drain. And it's, not very intuitive. Alright, next step is we gotta pull these pins out of the pieces of dynamite here. But after you remove 2, they're gonna start arming. It's a pretty precise line you have to pull up, so I'm not using the 2 stylus trick here. Okay, I'm gonna need to let the recharge here.
Good job.
Okay, let it recharge a little.
Good job.
Recharge again. And then burn out the laser on this part.
Derek. Good job.
Okay, so those are the 5 chips you have to do. It's the same ones every time, so no RNG or anything in that.
Derek.
Alright, so now I have like 15 seconds to cut all of these. Cut the red wire. You're intended to use the healing touch again, but we're just not gonna because we have 5.5 seconds left already. Still. Even without the healing touch.
That worked out.
You think Derek's last job was a bomb defusal?
No,
Expert?
the reason we're able to defuse this bomb is the lovely lady that you saw with us on that. She dated a person on the bomb squad while she was a police officer. That's how we know. It does not get more anime than this. Alright, so we have a Dima here. Okay, so we got these. Alright, so yeah, drain the edema from the lungs. Patch up the holes. And there we go. Now we wait. Because yeah, there's turbulence. Okay, fine. I'll do these two before the turbulence comes around. If you try to do anything when the turbulence is actually going through, you will cause wounds in the patient. Even something like using... Okay. So I need to drain this 8 times, so that's why I'm going for all 3, even though the turbulence is right around the corner, because as soon as I drain the last one, it'll stop. So it seemed risky, but as long as I successfully drained all 3 before the turbulence
Nice work.
started,
Styles.
it would automatically cease. With Healing Touch, it is possible to do all 8 drains before the first turbulence cycle, but I am not that good. I am decent, but not that decent. Alright.
Read off a couple donations here if we have the time.
Yeah, you'll have time in a second. I'll explain this real quick. Because we're about to get a spoiled Dorito birthday cake. You'll understand when you see it. So we're gonna just brute force this with the healing touch and pull out everything at once. Except not here, because the respawn time is short enough that we can do it without. Alright, Carter, go ahead.
Alright, I got a $1.50 donation from Julia Puki saying happy birthday from Finland, Carter. Keep up the awesome work.
Let's begin.
And we have a $20 donation from Cosmic saying happy birthday, Carter. What an awesome way to spend your birthday to help children in need. Good luck to all runners over the weekend. Thank you both Cosmic and Jolie Puki. You guys are awesome.
Alright, so I'm gonna use the 2 stylus trick a ton here to just pull everything out. So remove all of the thorns first, because if you remove membranes while there's still thorns around, that's just gonna multiply and it's gonna be a whole big mess. Luckily, dropping membranes has no consequences in this operation. It will during later ones. But yeah, that's Stridey. If you play this game and you have no idea how to deal with this, use the healing touch and then do all of it at once like that. But yeah, you pull the thorns out, then you use the scalpel on the yellow dots. You use the scalpel on the yellow dots, and then you remove them all with the forceps. So there's a Wii remake of this game called Second Opinion. And that actually changes more than you would think for a remake. For example, the scalpel step is completely removed in Second Opinion. You can just 4-steps everything. And there's the bomb that we just did surgery on. That's completely different on the Wii version. There's a solid amount of differences. Alright, so now we're on the biggest RNG part of the run. I can lose up to 2 minutes from straight RNG.
Let's begin.
Oh. If you're in chat, give me some good luck and pray for 3-up. Alright, so we got this little squid here. That we inject with stuff. We cut him out. And yeah, we just do that a couple times. Use the time of the invincibility to cure the wound right away. Then when he's defeated, put him on the tray, cut him open, and drain some stuff out. So we got the green one first. We're looking for 3 colors here. This is the setup for the next next strain of guild that we're dealing with, which I accidentally misspoke. It is Tatardi. I need to remember to not split here, because there's 3 ops of this I have to do at least. But yeah, I'm looking for green, purple, and yellow. There's 2 purples and 2 yellows, so there's only 1 green, so this is guaranteed to be a new color.
Let's begin.
And with that kind of cut, I'm pretty sure this is yellow. No, it's green again. So I am mistaken. There's alright, there's 2 yellow. There's 1 yellow then. So we're already guaranteed 4 operations instead of 3. So we're literally wasting time by doing this. This accomplishes nothing.
Doctor.
Yeah, every extra operation you get on top of the 3
Nice work, Dr.
wastes about a minute. Because it's about a 30-second operation and then 30 seconds of story sequencing that goes into it. Now, in Second Opinion, this is not RNG at all. Because in Second Opinion, the colors are all in the same location every time. However, under the knife, they're random. So a sideways cut means purple.
Doctor.
So that's color number 2, which was guaranteed because we got both of the greens already. Cool, that's that operation done. Sideways incisions are the worst, by the way.
Nice work, Dr. Styles.
Vertical swiping is a lot easier than horizontal swiping, as it turns out. Alright, Carter, what do you think? Down or up?
Up.
Up, alright, let's see. So yeah, for speed reasons, we just pick the closest locations every time to minimize like the travel time on the map. But yeah, at this stage it doesn't really matter whether you go up or down, and... Carter, you chose poorly.
Doctor.
Ah, nuts.
Hooray for 5 up! I would say because of the RNG nature of this, and you know, for good times, you can't really afford a time loss as big as a minute. Yeah, you can imagine that, you know, runs of this game doesn't start until
Nice work.
runs of the game doesn't start until you get out of this operation. But no. Runs of this game don't start until Chapter 6. Chapter 6 is its own, like... Chapter 6 is its own beast, separate from the entire game. We have tried to see if we could figure out how the RNG works for where to place each color, but so far we have not been able to come up with anything conclusive. Whoops, that was injected too early. Now, there's a little extra thing they throw in when you get the third color down. It starts going crazy, but you know, you can just sit there. You can just sit there and watch. I don't need to do anything. I can just sit around and wait. Yeah, pulling stuff up with the drain is kind of annoying, so and you have to like pull it up pretty far. Alright, so after all of that, we wait for our resident medical science genius Victor to come up with a cure for Tatardi, because one of our superiors at the Hope Hospital at the beginning of the game is the one that came down with the Tatardi strain of guilt. So this is the student surpasses the master test, sort of, by operating on our superior, our former superior. Don't you love sideways cuts?
Doctor.
Alright, so now we got these blobs. And yeah, it's gonna seem like magic how I know which is which. Yeah, I know what to look for in to see the color differences, so there you go. And now it's time to do color matching.
Doctor.
You need to wait for the colors to go away, then remember them. You, and as you weaken them by getting hits on them, they get faster every phase, and the amount of time you have to inject once you do the first gets shortened. But you know, this is the first Tatardi operation. It's the easiest guild strain by a landslide. But you can't say that during the run, otherwise things go south, you die, and you die in Tatardi, and you subsequently never live that down. And trust me, I've died on Tatardi in my personal speedruns of this before. Especially when I was first running this game. Alright, so now we have another new strain of guilt. They just throw them at you one at a time. Now we got Pempty, and we actually need to do a lot here. There's a lot of sequencing before we get to the actual Pempty fight. And yes, I am gonna use war terms like that. Okay, so cut weather with a scalpel. Doesn't work. Use the laser. Doesn't work. Use the gel. Doesn't work. Alright, so little trick here. The game wants you to inject the this hazy blue stuff, and you need to empty your full vial. Where is he? There. You need to empty your full syringe, but if you fill it you only need to inject. Like, it wants you to fully empty the vial that you have. So if you fill it in full, you have to inject for longer. Not only is that slower, but you can see the hazy blue stuff move around and about. And if it moves out of the place where you're injecting, the game will give you a miss and you have to start over. You have to do it again.
Not half bad.
So, casual tip as well. Fill the syringe to be just above halfway. And yeah, inject the Pempty. Inject the Pempty core that's hiding in there. Alright, now it's time for puzzles. Which I totally do not have a cheat sheet for. I don't know what you're talking about.
Nice work, Dr. Styles.
Alright, that's puzzle 1. Oh, I forgot to... There we go, there's forgotten split. I was wondering when I would forget the split for something. Cool. Alright, Pempty attempt number 2. Spoilers, it's not gonna work.
Okay, let's start. Derek. Derek.
Alright, so we've done this. Now the core appears. We zap it. I'm gonna raise vials here in the meantime, while we have some downtime. Because we're gonna leave the thingies down there. Alright, so laser it again, deactivate it, cut it out, remove it. Alright, done. Except not, because it just come back. And now the our boss basically tells us to cut the operation because our patient's body can his body like can't handle more of it. Alright, so back to the drawing board. And we're back to going back to doing puzzles. Except they're gonna be more difficult and they're gonna be 2. And eagle-eyed viewers may have noticed that the solution was on the top screen. But it only shows like which spots you need to leave open. It doesn't tell you what to put, which piece to put where. Oh, that needs to be there and go. Alright, puzzle number 2. That goes there, that goes there. Here. Alright, cool. That's all of them done.
Nice work, Dr. Styles.
Alright, so that's the puzzle over with. So now we're actually going to the actual operation, and it's an auto-scroller. If you do things right. It's the sort of auto-scroller where if you do everything right, it goes the same way, but if stuff goes wrong, then you have to deal with stuff that, like, slows you down.
Okay, let's start.
And this operation in particular is very, like, viewer-friendly. If that makes any sense.
Let's move on.
Alright, so zap him. Get his vitals up. So he's gonna nicely show us all the attacks he can do. So if they come out one by one towards the screen like this, if you don't laser them in time, they will create a laceration across the screen. Alright, next up, polyp cores. If 5 of them appear at once, after a set amount of time, they move up, and once you let go through, can create anywhere between 0 and 3 polyps. I got 0 and 3, which is kind of nice. And then you have the attack that will circle around the core and deal damage over time. Now I'm gonna be holding down the laser as long as possible. Cause yeah, the more often you're doing damage to Pempty, the better. And nice, that hit actually cut off the attack. And yeah, I'm zapping the bottom left corner of the core here, because that's where the circling cores come out, if that's the attack Pempty decides to do. So, because he's getting lower health, the attacks get more aggressive, so that went out faster. That was a near perfect Pempty. I almost had the I almost didn't even have to clean anything up. Alright, that went well.
Nice work, Dr. Styles.
Coolio. Alright, so even though we took out the Pempty, the strain on his body from all the operations we did on him has taken its toll, and that means that our patient is still gonna pass away. F in chat for Richard Anderson. Alright, so moving on. And yeah, I have also for stability's sake, I have my 3DS just on my desk, and then I have the styluses in my hands, just so I have like a still screen to work on, and also like don't have any cables disconnect. Alright, so time for chapter 5, where we're gonna see the strains of guild return. But they're gonna be like more resilient. We're gonna start here with Under the Knife, which is 5 Kiriaki operations back to back. You'll recognize which one it is when you see it here. So I have to do 5 of these patients in 10 minutes. That sounds like a lot, but if you're playing this casually, after you finish patient 3, if you start running out of time, then Angie will tell you. That. Hello, where are you? That reinforcement are on your way, and then the operation will end as soon as you finish whatever patient you're on. Okay, gonna get you out. I'm gonna leave you around and expose him first. Alright, so yeah, this is like... You all have seen this operation twice already, and you're gonna see it 5 more times. So, Carter Freak, now's a good time to say anything you have to say, or read anything you have to read out.
Alright, well, we don't have any donations right this moment, but I'll just kind of give a plug here, just talking about who we're fundraising for. We're raising funds for Child's Play Charity. It's a game industry charity dedicated to improving the lives of children with toys and games in their network of over 185 hospitals worldwide. We also have some awesome prizes you can check out. I'm going to be linking those in the chat here in just a moment. You can get free gift subs to a channel of your choice. You can get a set of 4 different curlers, and there are 3 different packages of Steam games that you can get for $6, $10, and $20 respectively.
Alright. Alright, so one thing I haven't mentioned yet is about the big triple laceration that the mature Kiriaki spawns at the start, when the mature Kiriaki spawns.
Doctor,
Nice, got 2 of them in one go. So I suture 2 of them because they're big lacerations, so they do big damage. You know, basic logic. And the way the operation works and the way the spawn works is I'll have the time to suture 2 of them. So I suture the straight one. And then this specific one. I leave this one for last at the end of the operation because it's the least consistent for me. That's the only reason. It's not like it's actually easier or actually harder, but it's how I like learned to play the game anyway. There's also just muscle memory to go for those 2. And yeah, you have to zigzag a lot for it to count. Also, for marathon safety, I'm going to boost vital so I can afford 1 miss. Because if there's one operation you don't want to redo, especially in a marathon, it's this one. Because if I die at any point, I have to do the entire 5-man operation from the start. I don't get checkpoints on patients.
Doctor,
So I suture 1 there because I just suture the minimum what is needed to actually spawn the first wave. Now, I'm going to be boosting fighters a little more than normal. I went for around 40 before. But I'm going to do a little bit more here. Yeah, I'll go for 55. Because there is now a small Kiriaki alongside the big one. So the last 3 patients are all going to have an immature Kiriaki alongside the big one. I guess it's Kiriaki's interpretation of bring your kid to work day. And yeah, you can see me juggling with very low vitals. As you might imagine, taking time to stabilize takes time. That sounds obvious, but yeah, it's the main reason why we like try to stabilize as little as necessary.
good work. Good work, Doctor.
Alright, 2 more patients left. But yeah, as we're speedrunners, we just go fast enough that we'll be doing like all 5 of them. There's no like time value in letting time run out and like having less patience to worry about. Cause yeah, we can do all 5 in we can do all 5 within the 10 minutes. So it's faster to just do the operation straight up because we can do it within 10 minutes. I almost sutured that and had low vitals going into this. Alright, so a thing I can do here is put gel over the wound and you can see like the bleeding animation is stopping. And that actually stops the DPS, the damage over time that those sutures are doing. And this is not working. Okay, cool. Alright, move on. One main thing to do is with these games is to not dwell on the same step constantly if it's not working out. My vitals would just drain a little faster because I have more wounds around. As I was getting moderately close to 0, and yes, we consider 2 vitals to be moderately close. You aren't moderately close. You don't get close to death until you actually hit 0 vitals. Which, fun fact, patients do not die on 0 vitals. They only die once the vitals exceed 0. And one thing that this game does is it has a hidden decimal value that actually shows the more accurate vitals. So if you're seeing 0 vitals on screen, I could have anywhere between 0.1 and 0.9. Unfortunately, I got a couple misses, which does damage, so I'm gonna soup up the vitals a little bit before I start this.
Doctor,
Because yeah, now we get 3 at once on the first wave. Gel will also slow the Kiriaki down. Nice, got both of them at once. Alright, let me soup up the vitals. So I'm souping up the vitals now just to give myself time to suture everything, because as every wound is dealing damage, the more I suture, the less the vitals will go down. So this is also a good way to raise vitals fast, because the gel itself raises vitals slightly and it stops the DPS from the wounds as long as I like gel over the wound. So a nice good healing method is to gel over the wound and suture, gel over the wound and suture, or suture stabilize. Yeah, they always, yeah, the answer is spawns in the same place. There we go. Got him. Hey, I cut you too. Come on. Come on now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find him within like a couple ultrasound. Otherwise, the vitals, like raising the vitals, won't help because they're draining because of all the wounds around. We hit 1 for a split second there. There we go, new record. This is not how I should be talking about patient vitals, but I am, because I'm a terrible doctor. Only listen to the video game advice I give you, not the medical advice. Alright. Well, marathon within a marathon, we're finally out of this operation.
Nice work, Dr. Styles.
Alright, Alright, so we're moving on to... So we did we revisited Kiriaki. What we're now gonna do is revisit Tridey, the Dorito birthday cake. However, this time the respawn timer is too fast even for me to do it, so we're gonna be doing the healing touch here. Now for marathon safety, I'm gonna draw a star because while the odd shapes work, the game actually grades your the game actually grades your star and gives you time, which you can see in the bottom left of the screen. You can see the time of healing touch that I have. And yeah, I'm also not using the 2 stylus trick for the thorns here because, as you can see, there's a new complication where they can vaporize, and I have to quickly switch to the drain for that. And there we go, it's approved. It's removed.
Nice work, Dr. Styles.
Alright, cool. Let's try it too. Fortunately, with no complications. There is... like... serious talk here, there is no better time save in this game than not dying. And there's no bigger time loss in this game than dying.
Let's begin.
So the best way you can play this game is by doing it deathless. Now we got to Tardy. Whoops, I need that one. So yeah, Tutardi is gonna not be all that different. It's just the cycles are gonna be faster. So like they move around faster. I have less time to inject. So I'm gonna actually be using the my left hand to inject these boyos on the left side of the screen. I'm just gonna be very careful to not inject the wrong color, because that's how you die. So also avoid trying to inject when two overlap, because that never ends well. Alright, I think it needs one more hit. Should be last hit.
Doctor,
See, I waited a split second with the green one to avoid like missing on an overlap.
good work, Doctor.
There we go. This is how easy Tatardi should be every time, but it never is when you say it will be. I've learned to keep my mouth shut about Tatardi being easy until after I've done it. And that was a gold split. See, that's how well that went. I golded this operation by 0.7 seconds. Hooray! This run was not useless for my actual, like, speedrun grind. The run's useful now, I got a gold out of it. Alright, so after all the, you know, souped up guilds you've already seen before, we're gonna be introduced to a new guild, the second to last one. Carter, are you familiar with Super Mario Sunshine?
I am, yes.
You may remember the first mission of Serena Beach, right?
Not off the top of my head.
Where you fight a big paper thing that you spray with water, then it splits into multiple. You need to make them all tiny. They turn pink and start to chase Mario. And when you defeat all of them, all 64 of the small ones, then you get the first star. The big manta-like boss.
Yeah, the manta ray.
Yeah, that's what this is. Except it's a worm instead of a manta ray.
Doctor,
Derek.
Alright, see, we've frozen him with the laser and then we cut him. Alright, so I need to actually balance keeping these guys frozen as much as possible, keeping my vitals up, and suturing the wounds that get created from me cutting these. And the smaller these boyos are, the faster they go. I don't know the small boyo is. I think it's that one. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna do that. So you want to work on the smallest one possible. I cut two at once. That wasn't supposed to happen. Because you want to have as few on the screen as, you know, as is possible at any given point. Okay, I'll cut you, because the way it is, you can see it zigzagging across the screen and slowly up. Oh, come on. Okay, so freeze you, freeze you. Yeah, I think it's time. We're gonna use the healing touch here. So I'm just gonna use the first part of this healing touch to just buff up the vitals a ton. Because while everything slows down during the healing touch, you want to know the one thing that doesn't slow down? The iframes of Paraskevi. That was the scalpel. I was trying to suture, but instead I sliced. So healing touch is about to wear off. Oh, I have a hole here that I burned in the patient. Alright, so what I'm trying to do is get what is called a one screen, which is not letting any of them escape. But unfortunately one of them got away. Alright. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna actually let them escape. Because they escaped to the top screen already. I'm just gonna use this time to boost vitals. So I don't have to worry about it at all in the next stage. Small, tiny things that you can do with the antibiotic gel are the worst. They're quite inconsistent. Now, let me speed it up by using two styluses there. So no one screen, unfortunately. But we get another shot at it.
Not half bad.
Because we'll be seeing this strain of guild again.
Good work, Doctor.
Yeah, the ideal thing is to take out one half of it normally, then use the healing touch and deal with the second half that way. But unfortunately, when I cut two at once and I said that wasn't what I wanted to do, I accidentally cut the biggest other half, which complicated things. Alright, so we saw the second to last guild. Now we're gonna see part of the final strain of guild. Alright, so we're raiding the bad guys' base that are actually, like, infecting everyone with guild. And we're trying to save a researcher here. Alright, so part 1 of this final strain of guild, mini spiders. You want to laser them as quickly as possible so they don't get time to merge.
Doctor.
Whoa, I got all of those in one go. Ah, so close to no blue boys.
Doctor.
So yeah, if they get to merge, they create a blue boy, which has a lot more health, and the creation of one cuts the vitals in half. Also, having blue boys around also limits the max vitals you can have.
Nice work, Dr. Styles.
One blue boy around gives you max 70 vitals. Two blue boys around gives you max of 50. And 3 blue boys around give you a max of 35. And yeah, that was the last wave of mini spiders. And on the last wave, I got a blue boy. That's the closest I've ever gotten to blue boy. I've gotten it a few times. But that's the closest I've gotten to it in, like, out of 2 marathons I'm doing. Because this is the second time of me, this is only the second time of me running this game in a marathon. Alright. Also, I definitely forgot to split on this one. Oh well. You know, my gold has a no blue boys, I'm pretty sure.
Let's begin.
Alright, so first we had mini spiders, now we have heart spider.
Doctor.
So what he's doing is, he's using his spider webs to literally steal the pulse of the heartbeat and give itself energy. Now, I told you before that blue boys were bad and I didn't want blue boys. I do want them here. Because we're going to be abusing a memory limitation. The more blue boys and mini spiders I have around, the faster this is going to be, basically. Yeah, it's going to occasionally also make new strands, which is not nice. But we deal with it. So yeah, the web is so corrosive that the scalpel just melts. And that's why it becomes temporarily unavailable, because scalpel is one of the tools that normally never runs out. Alright, so we're in the second web phase here. So, if I'm lucky, once I clear this web phase, Stavato, which is the name of this strain of guild, Stavato is gonna... Stavato is gonna absorb all the blue boys and mini spiders. Let's see. Oh. Alright. Stavato felt it necessary to do one more. And nope. Didn't get the so-called God skip. Alright, so what the memory limitation actually does. Is it's gonna cut out a web phase from the fight. Normally, when you play this casually, you actually laser the mini spiders and everything. you get 4 web phases, but the memory limitation is gonna make it so we get 3. Yeah, it's gonna just be absorbing things. Alright, so let's laser this boy. Because we're gonna be using the first, like, real glitch of this game.
Doctor,
Where we're gonna cut him, hold the laser on him, and immediately cut him again. So what I did was I held the laser down on him, so I was hitting him on the first frame the invincibility frames wear off, and that instantly burns through the shield. That is the shield skip glitch. The reason I do it on the first and second hit is because after the second hit you get interrupted by dialogue, so you can't chain the second and third hits together. Oh, I need a way here. Right, so draw a bunch of scribbles. So we do a panic healing touch and then a manual healing touch on top to completely freeze time. So one thing I forgot to do is select the healing touch, the manual healing touch before the automatic one triggers, and that lets you draw it during the cooldown. As you can see, I had to wait for a little bit before I could draw the manual one because I didn't have it pre-selected. Well, yeah, that is Savado defeated. Now, normally you'd think this is where the game ends, but this is... Remember how I said there were 6 chapters? This is the end of chapter 5. It's time for chapter 6, Original Sin. This is where the run starts. The previous hour and 18 minutes, completely irrelevant. This is where the run starts. So, chapter 6 is a badly disguised boss rush. We're going to be going through each of the 7 strains of guilt that we had dealt with before, except they're going to be souped up yet again. So this will be a good time for Carter Freak to talk while I focus, because the game gets significantly more difficult here. So I'll go into the operation, explain to you what's different, and then Carter Freak can take over. So we're gonna do them in the order we found them in, starting with Kiriaki. Main difference is that everything does more damage, and Kiriaki takes 3 hits instead of 2 with the laser.
let's begin.
Alright, Carter Freak, take it away.
All right. I'm just going to make a quick mention that we still have some targets that need to be met for the day. If you're interested in having them be met, we have a Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past no save and quit for category change. We have Contra Hardcore's secret ending, and we have Blazing Chrome's Halloween mode. Each of those requires $50 to meet the incentive for them. We also have some polls that are running. We have one that's running right now for El Dorado to save or kill Yoshi. And then the rest of them for day 3, so we don't have to mention those right this moment. Looks like you get the boost of the vitals really high for this, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Vitals dropping.
Because, you know, I'm at this point in the operation, and my vitals are already down in single digits. Although technically not single digits, because this game uses 3. Or uses 2 digits to display sub 10 vitals.
I remember when I played through this game casually, my very first time, and chapter 6 really is where it starts to kick you in the butt. A lot of the guilt at this point really, if you're not careful with the vitals, you'll end up hitting 0 really quick.
Yeah, exactly. The game is also lagging because of all the blood on the screen, but hey, as the Trojans so sneakily mentioned in chat, don't think I didn't notice that, lag is a free healing touch. Alright, so let's scribble wildly across the screen and hope that wounds magically disappear. That's basically what suturing this mess is. Alright, so I have some regular wounds left, which is fortunate because the small wounds that appear when you cut the Kiriaki out, they decrease the vitals less than actual lacerations. Yeah, as you can see, the Kiriaki are very aggressive here as well, with creating wounds constantly. So you hit the you hit the memory limitation real fast in this. Now, where is this boyo? Luckily, when they do an attack, they will appear wherever they cut. So that's one way to find them, but you generally want to just find them on the first ultrasound that you randomly put down on the screen. Yeah, I'm having not the greatest luck ever. Oh, look at that. We actually got a moment where I started panicking. Angie, that's not the time to start talking to me. The patient's about to die.
I hit 1 vitals there for a second.
Yeah. I hit 0 before, by the way, and like saved myself at the last second, so not the closest I've been to death without actually dying, but hey, doesn't make it any less nerve-wracking.
I was gonna say that's gotta be a bit of a butt clencher.
Oh yeah, during chapter 6, my butt cheeks are gonna be practically duct taped together. Oh, and this isn't even the Exops. The Exops are a whole nother ballpark on top of this.
What's always been mind-blowing to me is the people that do the S-rank missions for this. Because some of the S-rank requirements are really difficult to make.
Oh yeah, shoutouts to SCSK and Thurler, Japanese and Brazilian respectively. Yeah, they are the ones that do the they are the ones the max rank runs. SCSK has done one for this game, and then Thurler has done, and then both SCSK and Thurler have done them for the Wii games, Second Opinion and New Blood. Alright, so you may see a healing touch here if this operation, the second part of this operation goes south. Because if I get the RNG I got on the earlier Diphtheria operation, I will definitely need a healing touch and will probably die even with the healing touch. Alright, we need one more drain here. Okay, quickly cut this out. That's not what I call quickly cutting it out. Alright, that's part 1. Part 1 is always the easy part, even with the sin. Because that's the story thing. It's like the Delphi is like a superficial organization that labels these children as sinners and they infect them with guilt. Okay, come on, get it. Okay, cool. I got one early, so now we can do separate HP strat. So, alright, drain you, drain you. Alright, this is going extremely well, which means I've just jinxed it. Alright, laser all the things, laser all the things, laser all the things. Wow, that is amazing. That is like near perfect Diphtheria RNG. Holy cow. That's RNG.
Up for the...
Yeah, that RNG is as good as the first one was bad. Pop that. I can even use the tools together on the cleanup. Yeah, it's just the first phase wasn't like omega perfect. So that was still 18 seconds behind my gold, but it was only 18 seconds behind my gold. You've seen on the first Diphtheria operation how south that can go. Alright, we got Tridey. This is more or less the same deal as before, it's just the windows are shorter and it vaporizes more. Gonna be doing healing touch again. Alright. I do need these vaporizations to calm down, because if I get too many, I lose too much time to doing them, because doing this is way nicer. I just got them on the early parts. Cool.
Doctor,
I also carefully remove the membranes in the order that I remove the thorns as well. Because as you might imagine, all thorns have the same respawn timer, so the ones you remove first are gonna respawn first. So yeah, it is most wise to do the ones you remove first. No, remove the membranes in the same order as the thorns. That's where I was going with that. Alright, Tatardi is gonna be more difficult the same way as Tridy just was. It's just the damage over time is greater. And the windows for injecting get even shorter. So this would be the worst time to get wrong injections, but I actually don't exactly have the freedom to wait out clashes at this point. These misses are I would like to not have. As nice as the fighters are right now, I am gonna bump them up just for safety.
doctor,
It's about a third of the syringe that you actually need, so you can actually save time as well by
doctor,
you can actually save time as well by not filling the syringe all the way. Alright, should be final hit here. Nice! Perfect Deftera Sin. Deftera to Tardy. Language bonus, by the way, the Strains of Guild are named after the Greek days of the week. Starting with Kyriaki on Sunday. And because of the similarity between, you know, like the similarity in spelling and pronunciation, we call, I have a joke for this called Teriyaki Sunday. Cook the teriyaki. Alright, Pempty. Blah blah blah, repeat, everything does more and goes faster.
begin.
Also sideways cut. Because this Pempty is in the stomach. Alright, nice. That was still okay, good. Hello? See, that's what I mean. He disappears and then you get a miss. Alright. Okay, pump up the vitals. Now the attacks come out again.
Doctor,
But yeah, you can already see them come out a lot faster than they did before. Luckily, the cleanup with polyps isn't too bad as long as you don't let too many of them through. 3 or 2 is what I more or less strive for. Also, because of where Pempty is, I'm just using my left hand to laser the bottom left corner here. Yeah, I want to get the hit in here, so I'm just gonna play it somewhat risky and let 3 of them go through. And then try to clean up before the next cycle comes around. Also, yeah, Pempty is the only operation you get an infinite laser for. Because it's too damaging to the rest of the body. Like the Pempty's armor that you see here around it, like protects the lung from taking damage. So it's like too damaging for regular use, which is why you only get it for Pempty. And there's definitely operations where an infinite laser would really help. Alright, so yeah, this is gonna be risky here. And that's death. That's what happens when Pempty gets out of hand. Alright, luckily for the Sin, it doesn't take too long to get in, but as I mentioned before, there's no greater time lost than dying. I was hoping to get through it until the attack fully went through, and then I would have popped the healing touch and fixed everything. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to tank the damage. And I did kind of had to do it because I wouldn't have had the time to. I wouldn't have had the time to pop the healing touch. He would have died. Alright, once more from the top. I'll take one death, that's fine.
Doctor,
Estimate accounts for it. As long as I leave wounds small enough for me to deal with in Pempty cycles, then I'll be good. But yeah, that's really the way you get, like, messed up, is by, if you get multiple polyp... Alright, so I'm gonna hold the laser here now to deal with the small ones. I was trying to switch to the laser game, god damn it.
vitals dropping.
Ooh, okay. Pempty's pulling up a fight today. So yeah, I got screwed over by the game not switching back to the laser.
Let's begin.
I have to say it. It brings me a great solace seeing that you're actually struggling with this, because I found this particular guilt to be the hardest one out of all of them when I was playing through this casually. But yeah, it's been really impressive that you haven't died up until the 5th guilt at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Pempty's making up for it.
Doctor,
Because the screen you're seeing on your stream is bigger than the screen I'm working on. I'm playing this on a 3DS XL. So if you know what the 3DS XL looks like, that's the screen size I'm like playing this game on. It's about the size of a post-it note. I'm just waiting for these polyp cores to come ruin my day again. There they are. Alright, I got one, I'll take it. Oh, I thought I was hit a Pempty, damn it. There we go, that's the final hit. Okay, we're done here. Size of a credit card. I suppose that works. Alright, just some wound cleanup here. You can see the vitals dipping from me just doing something that simple.
nice work, Dr.
Ugh.
Styles.
Oh, in before I exactly hit estimate because of that. And all of that for an S rank.
So I have to ask, which of the guild do you find the hardest to deal with in Chapter 6?
Deftera. Just because of the RNG of the blobs running around and if they crash into each other. Alright, Paraskevi. Let's redeem myself with a one screen. So I prioritize the suture here because you actually have to like suture everything, and then the. Okay, cut precisely so I don't cut like multiple at once. Only cut the one I want to cut. Since this is the, you know, everything will do more damage. They don't necessarily fly around faster. But, you know, cutting them does more damage. I'm gonna wait till this one gets up and then stun him. You know, boost fighters for a little bit. No. I think one's gonna escape now. Oh, maybe not. There we go. Very carefully, only cut this one. Alright, let's go. Alright, healing touch is gone, but that's fine. Ah, one of them escaped! Oh, you gotta be kidding me! You know, let yourself be cut, please! Yeah, no, I need to still cut him. Hello.
Doctor.
There we go. One piece! One piece I was away.
Doctor.
Alright, one final operation. Unfortunately, because of the Pempty deaths and the terrible Deftera 1 RNG, it looks like we'll be going over estimate by a little bit. Which is unfortunate, but it happens.
And it's still been a very impressive run.
Alright, Salvador, let's do this. This is more or less the same operation as before, it's just Salvador's more aggressive. So he'll be making more strands, and the strands are also take more scalpel. So I'm just gonna go around and weaken each one periodically. So one thing I haven't mentioned about Salvador is that the blue boys have this thing where they explode into more mini spiders, which then make more blue boys. Like, that's the, you know, the over and under on how this operation gets out of hand. by letting blue boys explode. Except, like I said, because of the abuse of the memory limitation, we're not gonna care about the mini spiders and blue boys here. We're just gonna let them have their fun. All that we're gonna do is scalpel whenever it's ready. And use stabilizer in between. As long as you're stabilizing in between, your patient won't actually die while you try to do this. This is definitely a game that gets made easier by knowing what you have to do. That's the most of the speedrun as well. Like, most of what you've seen me do is just do everything quickly that the game throws at you. Also, you can slightly see the web start to turn red. If that goes through, then I'm gonna take a lot of vital damage. And it happens a lot faster. Stavato, can you stop? That's not what I meant by stop. Alright, no god skip again. Alright, so it's gonna be three webs again. So I'm just gonna bump up the vitals just to give myself as much to work with at the start of this, even though it's gonna like get it cut in half a bunch. Also, the shield is a lot more resilient to the laser, and it regenerates quite quickly. So I don't really have time to like stabilize unless I am out of laser. Okay, vitals are low. I don't want a triple cut killing my patient here, so... Alright, so bump up the vitals a bit again. That is very low. I don't like low vitals. Yeah, this is one operation where we actually do care about keeping the vitals somewhat high. I like up near zero like we usually do. Yeah, I'm gonna do the same exploit where I laser him on the first frame. The invincibility frame wears off to burn through the shield instantly. There we go, there's a triple cut. See, that's why I was stabilizing even though I had laser left. Come on. That was very risky. Because I was under 15 vitals. I was almost out of stabilizer on that one. Alright, there we go. I'm gonna let my laser recharge before I attack him, so I can make sure I laser him during the actual hit and get the skip. Alright, this time I'm gonna actually pre-select, and you know what? Just to end this on a high note, I'm gonna draw Triforce to end this all. And that, ladies and gentle people, is Trauma Center Under the Knife.
That was an amazing Triforce, I just want to say.
I've drawn better ones, I'll be honest. Alright, so you'd expect time to end when this operation is done, right? But no, not yet. We still have we have about a minute before we hit time here. Because you can say your GGs though, we're done here. You know, you can rest easy once the bandage is on. Until then, you cannot rest easy. Nothing worse like a bandage kill on Savato, because that's something I haven't mentioned yet. Missing with the bandage does damage to the patient, therefore you can kill a patient with a bandage. But yeah, yeah, we have a bit of epilogue to go through here, so once you see the text box disappear, you're gonna see a cutscene in a bit where there's Derek and Angie together on the sunset backdrop. When the text box disappears on that backdrop, that's when time is. So I also call it auto well, so just in general get ready on time.
You say we have about a minute?
But a couple seconds actually.
Okay.
Because here we go. Time.
Good game.
Yes.
Really though, thank you so much for doing your run here, DoubleDubbel, and just want to ask, do you have any shoutouts you'd like to do at the end here?
Well, first off, shoutouts to my boy Leo, who is an amazing friend of mine, and also an amazing speedrunner of the Wii remake of this game, Second Opinion. He is very close to having world record on the hard difficulty, and he also has a really sick time in Second Opinion. He is way better at Second Opinion than I am at UTK. So if you thought this was impressive already, go check Leo out. He also does fun stuff like I do, like some Grand Theft Auto Chaos mode, vote on random effects that happen. It's a thing I do, it's a thing he does. Bunch of fun times. Also shoutouts to Trojan Rabbit, who is the general master of the DS games. He has a very solid time in this game and holds world record in Under the Knife 2. Shoutouts to Thurler, who I mentioned before. And shoutouts to the rest of the Trauma Center community as well. They're a great bunch. They love to meme. Hence the whole, like, separate channel for bad SARS that the game accepted that I mentioned before. And one thing I also glossed over, by the way, about the the good times Leo has in the regular difficulty as well as hard. This game has no difficulty setting. There's one difficulty, that's what you gotta deal with. So in some ways you could argue that this is the hardest game in the series, because the other games have difficulty settings. You don't get no easy here.
Alright, well, thank you once again, DoubleDubbel. I'm just gonna read off a quick couple of donations here. Just $10 from Cardjacker, and $50 from Stunt Rooster. Thank you so much. They actually didn't have any comments. And other than that, we are going to be getting ready for our next run, which is going to be Super Mario World in a 6 by HJA. We will just be going into a brief intermission here. Thank you all.